Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Again, I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
L'Amérique a pas loupé yo. Quand il y a Sylvie, il y a quoi qui j'ai loupé presse. L'Amérique a pas loupé. T'as mon bien de moi avec moi nous deux. On s'en va plus. On va battre yo moi néo. On t'a dit t'as mon mouillé. On s'en va bien pour moi dit toi. abela lo kan yo ka go so aju lo aye awaye ati o lo wa ìyàwó abẹ́lá lókè yóò níbi tó jọba yìí níbi tó yọba máa ti sì mọ̀ pé yóò máa jẹ́ jíjí wọ́n pè sàmẹ́ fọ́ sí o sí ti kọ́lẹ̀ l'animateur ṣoko nọ́ská yà sẹ́ndé tó yé bi lọ́ máa tún fẹ́ fún mi vito àní tẹ́lẹ̀ gbé.
Corruption is a cancer. Is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Good evening, folks. Samson to Labra Public Radio. We're on it again this evening. We say thank you for joining us this evening. We say thank you very much. We're here to have some conversation with you. We're sitting in tonight for Mr. So, who is on assignment. Hopefully, will be joining us here later on this evening. We appreciate the opportunity again. Thank you, folks. We ask many of you that are watching, please share this video as much as possible. Share it to as many brothers and sisters who are watching. We're hoping will be able to join us to have this conversation. Please share it to as many brothers and sisters to join us and have this conversation with you as well. It's very important we do to safety. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again this evening. As we come in before to sit here, we ask you, my Lord, that you guide our thoughts. We ask you, my Lord, that you guide everything of this program. My Lord Jesus, we want to thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the safety. Thank you for your protection of love. Thank you. Oh, yes, my Lord. Because of you, we are here. We say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. My Lord, we ask that you bless the people of the Republic of Liberia. We ask that you bless the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. My Lord, we ask that the President of the Republic of Liberia, President Joseph Boakai, be given a long life, to do what is good for our people, to do what is right for our people. Open doors. Whatever he touches in the interest of the Liberian people, let his hand work well. My Lord, we ask that you bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So we were not able to come on yesterday. Not able. We didn't come on yesterday because there was an election. And the liberal and his liberal wing did not fare well at all. We are devastated. But there was another 4 year. We'll be back. We'll be back. The best thing we're asking our liberals in the United States, our liberals, Wayne, to do is don't give up. Don't give up, because if you give up, they'll take it and they will do whatever they want to do with it. Stand strong. Be ready to fight for what you believe in. Don't give up. We want to thank all of those that fought so hard, whatever side you're on. We thank you. Thank you for fighting for democracy. Those of you that were knocking doors, wanting this election result that came yesterday to have gone differently, we say thank you. Those of you that are in the Magas area and fought hard to win, you won, we say thank you as well. But we want to say this to you. The fact that you have won does not mean that you can just do whatever you want to do with democracy. The whole world depends on the democracy. Those of us that believe in freedom depends on the strong democracy tendencies here in the United States. And because of that, we will ask you, the fact that you have the power, please do not try to abuse democracy, the process. We ask you to make sure that the practice of democracy continue here in the United States, because many people all over the world depend on the democracy to survive. They depend on the democracy to make sure their own country does not fall in a hole. Thank you. We ask that you will continue to see that this country stands because of democracy. This country stands because the democracy that the forefather fought hard for. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom to associate must not be abused. You got power, we're watching. The liberal is not going to turn around. I got two sons that are serving presently in the military. So I do have stake in the game. So I've been quiet. I will be quiet for a while. I got that. Here's the other thing here. If this country does well in terms of democracy, places like Liberia and things, it's easier to fight for democracy. But if you're going to have a democracy to be torn apart here in this country, then it's difficult for us to talk about democracy in our own land. So we're fighting two fronts, but we're ready. The liberal is, now you're going to see the true color of liberalism. Welcome, folks. Let's go ahead. Let's go back home. Well, I want to thank all of you again tonight for joining. Will please share this video to as many people as possible, because we want our brothers and sisters to be able to join us so we can have some real, true tabata here tonight, because this is it's nothing easy anymore. We can't take these things for granted. We should not take these ideas for granted, because they can be taken away from us at the twinkle of our eyes. We cannot afford to have these ideas of freedoms, ideas of being able to speak your mind without any kinds of hindrance for anybody else. We cannot afford that. We have to stand out, and we will do so here in Liberia. If you want to take me back to Liberia, so be it. But I have two sons that are serving in the military, so I have skin in the game. I have to speak my mind. But anyhow, it's not about United States. United States can take care of themselves. So we'll go back to what we know best. So, folks, again, welcome. The Flanty for Speaker business in the House of Representatives is what is trending still. But it's getting a little bit desperate, and it's getting a little bit of a child play. Today, I believe the Supreme Court refused to take on Speaker Kofa's request. And here's the funny thing here. And I'm going to be ridiculous on this one as well. Again, I'm setting in for Mr. So. He said I should announce it every 5 minutes. So please guide me on that. I'm setting in for Mr. So tonight. He said I should announce it every 5 minutes, so I will try to announce it. I'm setting in for Mr. So tonight. He said I should. Oh, not 5 minutes yet. Okay. Hey, yeah, your knee, giza you must change my name. That mean you a can't over, and I'm gonna be calling your name. I'm talking about a small baby, $1,000 baby. I beg you, man. Yeah. Folks, I'm gonna have fun. It's good to be. You know, one of the things that I know about this, like broad public radio platform, when I come on here, it makes me feel like I'm in Liberia. Since 9 o'clock last night, I have not been myself because of what was happening during the election. And the fact the election didn't go our way. I have never been myself. But I'm laughing. I have not been able to laugh truly freely today. But I'm laughing now because I am in Liberia. I am my mom, my brothers and sisters. So here we can laugh and joke. So I want to thank you for that spirit. I want to thank you, all of you that watching. I want to thank you very much. But let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. So again, we say thank you for joining us. There is an issues going back to Flanty Kofa situation, Speaker Flanty Kofa situation. It's getting a little bit desperate. I think people are no longer hiding themselves. Um, they are no longer hiding themselves, and they are saying all kinds of things right now. The Supreme Court has refused to bring in to take this thing under control. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what exactly is happening, but this is what I suspect is happening. Many of the people that are on the court, and even many of the people in the Senate and stuff, they have run in with Flanty Kofa when he was serving under President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf as a corruption czar, anti-corruption czar. Because he brought many of those people to book. And they're now trying to pay back. They're no longer, yeah. Look at breakable power. You think Donald Trump care for you? You better can't stop about CDC. You come in, can't, my man, don't worry about it. But anyway, so many of these people, from my perspective, are now trying their best to have a payback situation with Flanty Kofa. And this is what I believe happening. Okay. So Supreme Court, you say you're not gonna invite they lifted the stay order. You know, the stay order that was not even obeyed by the people anyway. You lifted how weak you are. You're supposed to be you're supposed to interpret, but you're saying you're not gonna get involved. Because that's basically what it is. You're not gonna get involved. So Flanty Kofa and his people are now going to have to lift the conversation by also being ridiculous. Okay? Flanty Kofa are going to have to lift the bar. But it's going to be difficult for him because many of these people on the other side, they are not lawyers. They do not understand the legal implication of doing what they're doing. But for Flanty Kofa, people will say, but for Mr. Speaker, you should know better because you are the speaker, you are a lawyer. So Flanty Kofa going to have to, from my perspective, he's seriously going to have to start, throwing the line very easily. He can't rush it. CDC have also suspended most of their members, including Flatty, temporarily suspended most of their members that are serving on the other block, being part of that other group, including Tom and Father. This thing is getting a little bit concerning. They said Friday they're going to do the budget. Friday, if they're going to send the budget, who are they going to send the budget to, my people? Who do they intend to send the budget to? So again, I'm still here, still reeling from my defeat and what have you. But I will speak. I will speak. We're not gonna just lay down. I will speak. So the president, I do not encourage, and I will not encourage the president to get involved, because whatever it is, we have to respect the Constitution. You know, I think like the Constitution and what have you, those are ideas. If people start bluffing the idea, you got problem. Those are the ideas that it's like a glue. These ideas are like a glue. We respect them, they hold us together. We don't respect them, we start bluffing them, they tear apart. We don't hold together. That's exactly what is happening right now. These people would have done with this problem here almost a week ago. Go to the chamber, submit your resolution according to the rule. Speaker Kofa, once the complaint is lodged against Speaker Kofa, he most likely would have turned it over to somebody else because he would have recused himself. And then all of these things we won't be here. But first of all, they don't even believe in their own rule. They don't believe in it. They have no trust in it. Some were arguing if you turn this thing to Speaker Kofa will handpick whoever that's supposed to head the investigation. So if what you want Speaker Kofa to go to Ghana and borrow somebody from there, or do you want Speaker Kofa to go in the street of Monterey and pick somebody and say you can be referee? That's not part of the rules. The rule is very specific. That if you have issue like this and put it on the floor, there will be somebody from Speaker Kofa or whoever is being accused will have to recuse himself if they are in leadership position. Okay. They didn't say go outside and borrow somebody to come here or bring somebody from the judiciary or judge from the executive to come and referee. No. So first of all, if you're going to be elected, first of all you have to try to, but they don't even respect each other. They have no trust for each other, and that's why we're not getting anything from these people. Nothing. But the funny thing now is, Liberians that are working for the government of Liberia, their livelihood depends on the budget. No two ways around it. So which one of this group that will now stand in the way of Liberians being able to get their pay? So why it is tough right now on Speaker Kofa and his people, because even if they say you're in majority, I mean, even if you have the quorum, they won't be able to do anything. They don't have the quorum. Okay? But those who believe they have the quorum, go and they have the number, go and carry out the process. If you don't have the number, you'll get out of this thing. Somebody will, the thing you're playing with, somebody will call the true bluff of this democracy business that we all say tabata on the show. Okay? Somebody will come in with that kind of stuff. Then what? So Franti Kofa, Honorable Franti Kofa, Speaker Kofa, I don't believe he's ready to resign. He's not going to resign. On the other hand, I'm a little bit thinking to myself, I don't know. I don't want him to resign. But at the same time, the grinding process is taking effect on me. If I think about Liberians that are suffering, how are they coming out? They might not get paid. Hey, man. How are we going to deal with this thing? You better put yourself together. You got to put yourself together. These are the kinds of stuff the other group is thinking of, that they're banking on. To say how are they coming? People need their money, and they want to use those type of process as part of their political process to have Franti Kofa to resign. Okay? Let me bring in Jerry. Jerry, thank you for joining me. So they're trying to use that to say we will pressure the speaker to resign instead of going to carry out this true process. But Flanty Kufa, from my understanding, I could be wrong, but Flanty Kufa is also telling them now we will investigate her. They say we're investigating it. He said we'll investigate her too. One other stuff that I saw today, I don't know how true that is. I don't even know if he has the power, but that he was going to hold their pay. They will not get paid. That's going to be very interesting. Does he have the power to do that? To say that his colleagues in the House of Representatives will not get paid because he's a speaker? I don't think he can do that. But well, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but that's going to be very interesting. And one last thing here before I bring in Jerry. I read something on I call it Daily Observer today that said the foreign ministry is now the government announcing U.S. $25 million master degree work study program in the United States and Canada. I thought that was laughable. I thought that was laughable because that's something if you do what make and the way when you go and read that article, the way they explain it, it is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. That I Samson will leave Town and they will put me on a scholarship to come and study, get my master's degree in civil engineering. And I'm working, they say after the 2 years, then you stay here for another 3 years and you work, you're making anywhere between 50 to 100,000 from Town. And then you want me to go back. I'm making 100,000 here, 100,000 here in America, 100,000. And then, but then you expect me after that program and that I should go back to Liberia where I will be making $20,000 to $30,000 a year. Who in their right mind will expect anybody to go back to those kind of condition? And you're not even too sure what a job will be there for me anyway. So, that's the people money. We're gonna, but Liberian gonna borrow it, and that's it. But I'm doing my research on that company. The company I believe is most like I don't know yet for sure, but I think it's from Ghana. I hope it's not one of those 407 or 401 or 916 or some whatever number they have. But let me bring Jerry in here. Let me bring Jerry quickly. Jerry, good evening. Thank you for joining us. What's on your plate tonight? I'm sitting, or you and I sitting in for Mr. So tonight, who is on assignment.
Well, he ran away from his own shadow.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know that one. But he said you will be joining us later on, so let's see.
Good evening,
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen. I'm always happy to be here. A child from BNW to sit among the intellect, among the best out of the best. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Every day I count on my blessing. You're the man who worked 3 days to see car roll in the United States.
Let me bring in Dr. Malice as well. Go ahead.
And people are listening to me. So I'm blessed. But yes, I think you brought out a good topic. I want to talk about it. I don't know why today, before the president comes to talk on the issue, do they do a complete research or are we just reactionist? When we see something, we just get on the bandwagon. I mean, I begin to think, why would they bring Mr. Buckeye in this situation? If that is the case, let the Minister of Education talk on the issue rather than the president. It's a state for on the executive. Look at the key word in there today. I read it. I will listen to the president. Collateral. Collateral. Who will put out the collateral for you to come and study? And if you don't come back because the collateral, that means I'm using my power, cassava farm, I'm using my mine or house, or so who are the people who will be eligible for the collateral? When I talk about the collateral, what is the amount that will be used as a collateral for you to come here and come study and you return? So, I mean, I was listening to it today. I was like, what? Why would they want to put a president in this kind of chair? Give it to the minister or give it to the assistant minister. Let them talk about it. It's not everything the president have to talk about it. That's what I said the last time. Our government in Liberia is too big. They become a big elephant. And everything the president, the one open bridge got to send president, the one open clinic, the president got to go there. Their order, I'm not saying it's not important, but that's why you had a Ministry of Public Works, you had a Ministry of Finance, you had a Ministry of local government, you had a Ministry of Education, you had a Ministry of Health and Social. These are the ministries are responsible. Because I listened to the keyword that say collateral. How many of us in Liberia, I don't know what is the amount that will require for you to have that. But if I had another scholarship because you put on a collateral anyway. So another scholarship. Because anything you put on a collateral, that means if you come and study, if you don't go back, if you put your mind D, maybe you lost your property. Hmm? But
Thank you, Jerry.
I'll pause there for a while and we'll give
Yeah.
it to the
Yeah.
ED. Probably he will lecture on that issue that the Mali will
Yeah,
go more
yeah.
in depth because
Well,
you
again,
see,
was I'm sitting in, and this is the last time I'll call his name. I'm sitting in tonight for Mr. So, who is on assignment, and I'm not gonna say that again because you want me to say every 5 minutes, but I'm not gonna do that. So, my Esther, good evening, Victor, good evening, Jerry. The point you're making before I go to Dr. Mali here, the point you're making back in the days when I came to the state, there was a gentleman who had gone to my dad to say, "Oh, Samson, your son was behind my wife here." And so I count for him. Back home, if you go beyond anybody's wife, you got to pay either $10 or
$10
$20 or
damage. You
yeah,
got to pay
yeah,
damage. Yeah,
yeah,
$10
you got to
damage.
pay damage. So we're coming to claim. So my father said, "But when that my house in America, something in America. Why I can't find a way over there to pay the direct. If you can afford the money to fly to America for $10 or $20, then you're good. It's the same thing here. You coming, somebody gave them their land, thing like that. The person got deed. The person need not on a deed. Then you say that collateral, right? Even if the father said agree to sign, if that person is not the only child, you think that kind of thing will fly? The person come in a place that doesn't even have to do anything. All he has to do get married, he going nowhere. Besides that, he can even use your own case against him as a political asylum case. That the people want to prosecute me if I don't go back, they will arrest me. And once that they can show the document, the judge will say, who will hold you? you know. But they're not thinking. Let me go on to Dr. Mary. Dr. Mary, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us. What's on your plate, sir?
Yeah, good evening, Liberal and
Thank you.
Mr. Barkham. How are you guys?
You're doing wonderful.
Yep.
What's on your
What
plate?
what on my plate is the same old story. I've been following the story Mr. Barkham was just talking about. But I think it's not well organized yet, that what I see here. I think it still need more flesh to be put on the bone. Because the issue of collateral is not for fun. But I was thinking, can we look at this thing in a different light? Yes.
Example.
People have been coming to the States, maybe on government scholarship and other things. And they come, they don't want to go because of poverty and other things. But the question now is, aside from collateral, can we revisit the thing from a different lens? All right? Can
The floor
people
is
come
yours,
for,
sir.
yeah, can people go to settle in foreign lands, probably government taking over responsibility and other things? Because I'm very sure in the 60s, 70s, and the late 80s, when people were coming to the United States to pursue their education on the back of taxpayer money, they come with a mindset. And the mindset is they disappear into the society here and they don't return. All right. So my question now, when I heard this thing today, even read the story, I said, but it's going to even happen more than what happened in the 60s and the 70s and the late 80s. It's even going to be more serious now. By the time probably the people even disappear from the airport, rather than even putting their first legs in the classroom. Because the situation back home, things are improving. And things are improving because even we are part of the problem as well. So I begin to ask myself 3 questions. Can we take people passport away from them? Was they ever done in the 70s and the 80s and the 60s? Can we undress them or everything? Can we get the list of their family members in this country here, even though they're not part of our negotiation, so that just in case someone slip into the crack, we know you are heading for Rhode Island. We know your uncle is there. We know you are heading for New York. We know your uncle is there. You see? So I was thinking, because the collateral thing, to be frank with you, is dangerous.
Thank you.
You see? Yes.
Thank you. We'll come back to you, but let me go to Jerry. Jerry, back in the 70s, mid 70s, late 70s, I was very young, but I was working for the Ministry of Education as a cadet. I was working with my mom because she was not a biological mom, but she was the mom to me. She read me, of course, and then she called me later on after I decided to test the street of Monrovia. Uh, so she find out my brother is here. He's here in the United States as well. Every time the story, when I tell you the story, he says something I don't remember, but I know what happened. But anyway, she got me from the street of Monrovia after I left the house. I went in the street, literally in the street of Monrovia. I spent years in the street of Monrovia. And finally, she saw me one day in a store Benson Street working as a store boy, where she and my brother came to buy shoes. And let me just tell you the story a little bit, then I can go on to the main topic. I was working as a store boy. After I left her, I told her, say, I don't want to stay here anymore. I want to go back to Totown. So she gave me $50 to go to Totown. I used that $50, got some friends. That was it. I was in the street of Monroe until I was able to find a job at the Lebanese man store boy. So when they came into the store, I saw them because those days when you're in the bike, they had the glass set in a way that you can see anybody coming from both sides. That's a glass where supposed to be where you can view the item, where you're supposed to be able to view the items and stuff.
Display.
Yeah. So I saw both of them coming in. So I hit myself underneath the counter. But the guy didn't notice it. The learning man didn't notice that. According, what's his name? Ama. He didn't notice that. So the lady, my mom came in and asked for a pair of shoes. Give her the shoes. She tried. Hey, I don't like it. But apparently, my brother now, and I would just name his first name Victor. They call him. He saw me, but he didn't. He wasn't too sure. So when they left, he told our mom, and said, "Mom, I think the person I saw in that store that Samson." Said, "No, the man in Totown. What the man doing? Where how you see somebody in Totown? You see?" He said, "Mom, that's Samson." The woman said, "Okay, let's go back." So they came back to the store, and the woman insisted to Amma that the store boy come and try the shoes on her. So Amma too didn't know what was happening. I hit myself again. Amma said, "But Samson, the woman said you should try the shoe on." So I
You want to make money.
Yeah. She said, "What? You here?" I said, "Yeah." But anyway, she said, "Come to the ministry Monday." She was a deputy minister for research at the Ministry of Education at the time, Madam Bertha Baker, Dr. Bertha Baker's uncle then. She called me to the ministry and I went there that Monday. I became, at that time, another young man who was then cadet had gone to BWI. So that space was open and she put me in there. Son working for mom, I forget it. But the main reason why I brought this thing here in, Jerry, it was a same time a guy called Dr. Joseph Kotu and Dr. Theophilip Sampon and another guy. There were three of them that came. The other guy died here in the United States. But Theophilus Samson and Dr. Kotu, after getting their degree, they went back to Liberia. They didn't stay here. They didn't stay here. So the idea of us continuing to say that people will not go back might not hold water. There were other people, the like of that, what's his name, Dr. Bullet. I believe he has scholarship. After his scholarship, of course, he stayed for some time, but he went back home. Dr. Gonga went back home. Many of them, what's his name? The Ministry of Education, Cox, Ira Cox, went back home after they gained their master degree. So, but the reason that I'm saying this is those days, you will be better to be back home than to be here in the United States with your master degree. Because those days, the issue of the civil rights was raging. Many black people did not have the opportunity to get the kind of job people get today. But when you were to go back home with your master degree, Toba and his two-week party will find something for you. Not this time. This time, the people that are running, they don't care. So you can get all your master degree in science, whatever they want to put you in, you go back. Most likely, you're not going to get anything much. But the worst of all, they said the people that will come here will be making $50,000 to $100,000 for 3 years. Do you see any logical person, someone with a master degree, who has this company you're looking around here in the United States, have invested 3 years in you, training you, and then it's okay, you can go now? No. Whereas this same company going to India to get Indians to come here and work in this field. And if they're lucky to see you and you're smart and they're able to train you, making 100,000, you think they're going to let you go? They will do everything possible to fix your paper for you to stay here. One thing. Second thing is, who among us, especially young Liberians, that will leave $100,000 on the table and go back to Liberia to make $30,000 to $40,000 a year? I just don't see it. I don't see the logic in it. If you want to impact the Liberian engineers or the science or what have you, you got people, Liberians, who have already educated themselves. They are here in the United States. Some of them like Dr. Madden, he's teaching. You got Sissy Goyer. Sissy Goyer will not charge you. Okay, you Jerry. But Dr. Armo Baka, I've been trying to get you. You don't want to go, so I'm not naming you. Yeah. But anyway, but these people, Sissy Goyer, for example, would tell his wife, I'm going to be gone for maybe 1 or 2 months. Nobody wants to stay. They don't want to stay there. But Sissy Goyer is not going to charge you $40,000 just to impact the educational ministry. Sissy Goyer can even stay here and supply you with information. Dr. Marlin will do the same thing. But you're going to bring people here, give them a degree, whereas Dr. Marlin or Sissy Goyer or even Jerry can go home and train 5 or 6 people in his field in less than a year, impact them. But you want the people 250 to come here, and out of that 250, you'll be lucky if you get 5 people going back to Liberia. Let me come to you, Jerry. I think the subject matter is there. Let's get off of Kofas and the people stuff a little bit.
No, we can explore it. That'd be good. Yes, the thing I want. Are we going back to the country and conquer something now again? Because
no, not yet. I will inject that in there, but not yet.
Okay, well, okay, that's my point. One of the point I want to make, because during the time, our father time, the country boys couldn't come to the country. They couldn't come to the United States because you got to put out a single collateral before you can come. For any out of
so you got to take cow or goat and all that kind of stuff.
So are we going back to the same old system? Then they'll look at another perspective. The visa return. He listened to the ambassador, I think a week ago or 2 ago. He said the return of the people who have visiting visa, because that's why they're not giving too many visas to the Liberian people, because the return. Okay, then he brought out a good point. The good point is that why don't you recruit because we have people who are already educated in this country. And that's the thing that you are looking for already. We have the coordinator, I call it diaspora coordinator, who's stationed in Minnesota there. Let him do a research and start coordinating professional people in this country. The area that you are looking for, we got thousands of people, I believe. It is true. Okay? The area that you are looking for, we got people who are experts in the area, who have work, who have experience. The third thing I want to bring up, which of course I think we can talk about it, because there's a perception. The Liberia in Liberia and the perception the Liberian are in America. More often, they always tell us if you go to Liberia, oh, they come from America, they can't look for joy in Liberia. Folks, let's be realistic here. If I have to go home, like you just alluded to, that doesn't mean because the president gave me joy and I refuse. When the appropriate time comes, I will go. But I'm just not ready to go. And I told the president, I said, Mr. President, if I'm ready, I will come. But at this time, I'm qualified, but I'm not prepared to make that change to say I'm going back to Liberia. When that time comes, I will go. You hear me say how that discussion, and I still say on the air. When I read it, I will. If you still want to give me a job, that's fine. It done. I can go in the classroom and teach based upon my experience or based upon my qualification. But these are the things we need to do. I know you alluded to it, but the problem we have is the Liberian in Liberia and the Liberian that in America is always that perception that we're going home to take their jobs. Now, you're going to send 15, 20 people here who will come and study here, and they're going to go back home and they say, oh, the people don't come from America, they come and take our job. So it's something for us to look at. I mean, it's a good thing for people to get education because the more that we are educated, the more prosperity is open. So, I mean, these are my point. We can
Fair
we can
point.
discuss
Fair
it.
point. We'll explore all of those. Thank you, Jared. Let me go on to Dr. Mali. Dr. Mali, what is give me two analyses on this here. Okay, first let me hold you to one analysis, and then I'll come back to the next one later. But the first one is the benefit. Give me some positive aspect of this thing, and then when we come back to you later, you can give me the negative side of it. Or it's up to you. It's up to you. I don't want to control your
Yeah,
logic here.
yeah. You see, these are very wonderful ideas. But what I see here is that from time immemorial, I don't think we as a government back home
Look at it.
have organized this thing properly.
Let me bring
No,
the
no, I'm not
stranger
talking
in.
about.
Let
I'm
me
not
bring the
talking
stranger.
about.
Yeah, let me bring the Dr. Mali. Just hold on 1 minute. Let me bring in the stranger. Why no lie in your background? Thank you for joining us, Mr. So. No lie in your background. We can see you. Dr. Mali, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're making an excellent point.
Yeah, I say we as a government, we've got a very good intention. All right, but our intention has not been put in a position where it's well organized. It is a good idea to send your citizenry out. But the first question now is we keep sending people, or like Mr. Bacon was just touching a little bit on this Congo native thing. We shouldn't forget that most of the native people domesticated most of our indigenous. They live with them.
The native people.
And most of the Congo people domesticated most of the indigenous in Liberia.
Yeah, I benefited from it. I live with it. I
Yeah,
benefited from it. I'm not saying they
No,
were
yeah.
no,
bad.
Jared, he will
Something.
give you the benefit of it. He's not just going to throw the Congo people under the
Yeah.
bus. He will give you the benefit of that. Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
I overheard you saying they had to pay our native people some money. Well, I have not come across that. But what I know, most of the Congo
Let me bring
boys.
in. Dr. Mali, please hold on. Let me bring in the man with the globe who have the whole world on his mind. The globe behind him spinning. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Terry. Thank you. Go ahead, Doc.
Yes. So during those
By
days,
the way, I'm sitting in tonight for Mr. So, who have joined us, but I'm still in control, and I just want to make that point clear that he was on assignment, and he will tell us maybe later on or so, tell us his assignment. But we have a beautiful show here tonight, and I want to welcome all of you that are watching. Please share this video to as many people as possible. The liberal is at its best again tonight. Go ahead, Doc, please.
Yeah. So most of these people were able to get some of the native children to stay with them in Liberia. And some of them even changed their name. And some of them even helped some of them to come to the United States. All right. And they consider some of them as being part and parcel of their family members and treat them in that direction. But most of them were not coming because they wanted to go to school. They were coming as family members. But the case of the government taking taxpayer money and putting people together and sending them abroad, I think in between there, we need to organize it properly. First of all, what are the needs that the country really need for which we're sending these people? Are we sending them into the same old discipline to improve into the same discipline, like administration?
No, Doc. Doc. In the people write out, they made it clear. This is the science and engineering technology area. It's
Okay.
not. It's not. So there are some clear.
So say if that would be the case, this time around, I want us to approach it differently as a government.
Okay.
America should not be the destination for that. Let's look among our friends that are heavily invested into this science orientation thing, like China, like South Korea. This time, let's take the America thing out of the whole picture now, and send some of these guys to those places
what would be your reason trying to take America out of this dynamic?
Very good. America has always been the attractive ground.
The what kind of ground?
Attractive. It just America always attractive. It's an attractive ground.
Okay.
Everybody wants to come to America.
Right.
All right. And at the end of the day, you come to America, there are so many side attractions. You get missing into the system after your studies. And even here is the worst part. Because these things are not properly organized, the government sends some people to America to study.
But Dr. Malley, you are assuming. No. I'm gonna push push back on it. When you said they are not properly organized, you have already concluded. We don't have evidence.
But give me chance now. Say I'm concluding. Let me learn.
Okay, go ahead.
You can't send me to study, and you can't continue to finance the study. I've had 3 friends that came. Government sent them here from Georgia time. They just abandoned them. They had to find their way out. Okay? It's part of the equation. It's happening.
Thank you.
So what I'm saying this time, let's focus on different countries and get America out of the equation.
Thank you, Doc. We'll come back to you. But don't forget, when I come back to you, I want you, now you are giving us the negative side of it. When we come back to you, please help us to understand if there's any positive at all on this thing. But I'll come back to you. Let me go to Mr. So, who is the true, did I say true? I mean, who used to be the host. Mr. So, good evening. Thank you for joining us. I know you were on a very serious note. You are on an assignment. So if you want to take control of your show, you're welcome to it. If not, I will continue with the process. But welcome. What's on your plate? What do you want to contribute to what we're discussing?
Bro, if you don't take that, I'm going to take it from you the way you're carrying it.
You see I think you come and put your phone inside, leave it alone.
Potentially, the owner of the town is here, so don't even make into something. No, anyway, Libra, thank you, and thank you, guys. Look, there are so many things factoring in for me. I have not read that particular time, or I've not really picked up that information because I have myself glued to what was happening where I am. In terms of the electoral process, the elections, the results, and all of that. It took most of my time for the last day or so up to today's point. And I think it's important in as much we talking about other things, it's important that we kind of hit on a piece of
Mr.
it.
Mr. So, can you hold on 1 minute? Let me just merge Walter Carter into the Walter Carter. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Mr. So, proceed, please.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's important that we, kind of hit on it. We don't have to go in there because, for the most part, elections in Africa, not just only Liberia, are characterized, glamorized with violence, discontent, cheating. Once they don't win, but we're seeing how the process is being played out, despite the people spend millions of dollars. Whoever lose the process in good faith, they concede and extend the, congratulate the winner, and they're doing it for the good of the country. So I just thought I put that out because we are here to educate, to inform as well. But one of the things that attracted me was the few appointments the president made today. The Supreme Court listing the state. On the order allowing the others to proceed, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives vowed to fight on, and that is part of what he believes. And piece of another part is Deputy Speaker Fowler. His position. I'm not sure whether he's been expelled, but based on what I saw, but I think that his right eye was very decent. It was very well connected. And that speaks to the value of, even if we are member of the party, people can take side. We saw that happening in big country. They can have their party and say, hey, you know what? I'm not supporting this candidate, and let's give them the side. But I think his letter is sort of a layout that will allow him the opportunity while he's making the decision that he's making. He didn't say he's walking out of the party. But I mean, that's another version of us even being in part of an institution, and we do not agree with the policy or what is happening in the institution. We might not know in depth, but people usually make judgments on the surface and just draw the conclusion.
Thank you.
So yeah, those are stuff that kind of concern me.
Thank you. We will try to dabble into just a little bit into the American election, maybe as our part of our closing. How is a different from what we just have, the wonderful electoral process we have in Liberia quite recently, whether we can compare those two together in terms of the result and all of the activities that went around the election. But let me go to, thank you, Mr. So. Let me go to Terry. Terry, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Of course, we'll like to know what is on your plate. If you care to contribute to any of the previous conversation, we will appreciate that. But what's on your plate, sir?
Well, yeah, there are so many things going on in the country, most of which the CEO has already labeled. And you guys also discussing one of the major issues too that have to do with, I don't know, the scholarships of what my concern is drawn to that. Whether if this scholarship will be well vetted, where people will have the opportunity to sit in. But my surprise today comes from the Supreme Court position on the case. I'm wondering whether if the writ that was filed was in contravene to, was in contravene to the reason why the Supreme Court did not proceed to put a still order on the majority black. I don't know if another job. I mean,
so are you suggesting that the complaint from Flanty Kofa might have also violate some part of the Constitution or violate some part of their rules for which the Supreme Court is now saying we don't want to be part of that? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that what he filed could not have been, because he did not file a motion to put a stay order on the majority black.
Okay.
So because he did not file that motion, the court cannot put a stay order on the majority black.
So you're suggesting that's why they lifted the stay order that they placed on there, because it was not part of his initial filing.
Yeah, because people are accusing that, oh, the Supreme Court, they ruled this, they ruled that. The Supreme Court, the rate that he filed, I think, was about him receiving due process. All right. So I don't think the Supreme Court can leave from that particular case on a discussion we have to do with due process to go and put a stay order on the functions of the majority black, because that was not the issue. That was not the rate file. So by that is just in my opinion. So by lifting up,
that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to justify.
It doesn't mean
that's your view. Yeah, that's
yeah.
your view,
It doesn't mean that Fonati Kofa won the case or the majority black won the case. I think the problem have to do with what was filed to the court, and I do not think that the rest of the colleagues of the Supreme Court bench can either rule otherwise.
Thank you. Let's go to Winter Carter. What's on your plate? And then after that, now that Terry has elevated this conversation, I think the idea of this scholarship or whatever it is, work study, master degree work study program, we can table that a little bit. Let's hear from you.
I would like to say hi to everybody on the platform.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't think I want to table that educational piece.
You can speak to it if you want.
I also would like to just throw a little light on what Terry said concerning the Supreme Court decision. As he said, and it's true that Fanatic Kofa was his appeal to the court was not to put a stay order on the majority black, but because the court were hearing his side of the story, asking the court to ask his colleagues to give him due process. So the court in their judgment said, okay, you hold on to everything. Let's go back and review this whole thing, and we'll come back. That's why the court first decision was due process is the way forward. You'll go back and gain due process. But in the whole process, the court also has to lift out. They have to lift out the stay order so you guys can continue doing what they have to do as far as
Carter, do me a favor. Just hold on your third one, please, if you don't mind. I will go ahead now on ELBC. There's a lady, Fabienne Kuya, who is a reporter, Supreme Court reporter, who is she's very much knowledgeable when it comes to the Liberia law, and she's not a lawyer, but she's very close to that, I would say. But let's hear from her. Let me bring this thing to your attention and see what she say about it, because she was at the courthouse when that happened. So let me grab that video very quickly, and let's see if I'll even be able to find it. Usually when you're looking for those things, okay, yeah, it is. All right, now let's listen to that. Maybe.
Can you engage Ricardo on the subject of discussion tonight?
Good evening, Koto, and good evening to the laborer. And I want to bring you back to yesterday's incident at the Supreme Court. There was this hearing about the writ of prohibition yesterday in the Justice Chambers, His Honor Yami Gbese. But because the chambers could not contain the number of people that went to the Supreme Court, so it was held in open chambers yesterday. And there were a lot of people there that went to listen. Initially, the speaker filed a writ of prohibition through his lawyer, former Associate Justice Kabina Janet, on grounds that it should stop the majority bloc from having extra sessions, and so that's why he went to the court. But yesterday, argument Kabina Janet proffered before the court for his clients, the speaker, was that he wasn't giving due process, and the procedures that were being used by the colleagues from the other end, whom they described themselves as majority bloc, was illegal, and so he wanted due process. Councillor Varney Sherman is the one representing the majority bloc, and so Councillor Sherman said if he's requesting for due process, there were several complaints that he wrote to the House complaining about Speaker Kofa that is actually leading to his removal, and he displayed that document in open court before the justice in chambers. And there's this information I just want to clarify because I was there yesterday. The justice in chambers, His Honor Yamin Bese, did not rule. A lot of people saying that he ruled in a matter. He did not rule. He reserved ruling. He did not issue the alternative writ of prohibition. He reserved ruling, and it was based on a communication that Councillor Barney Shimon, who's representing the majority bloc, proffered in his argument before the court. And so the justice in chamber said, granted, that's a communication you brought, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to have copies of that communication, and then go back to the clerk of the House of Representatives for some clarity. And so he reserved ruling. So there's two things involved. He either grant the writ of prohibition as prayed for by Speaker Kofa, or he denied it. And so in granting it, we expect him probably to issue the alternative writ. The first thing yesterday in chambers, both parties acknowledged the fact that indeed the Supreme Court has jurisdiction over the matter due to the Constitution, despite separation of powers. So both parties acknowledged that yesterday. And so we're going to wait and see as to whether that rate will be granted or denied, probably within a couple of days or maybe during the week. And so that's what stands on saying that it's taking a different trend, because the news went yesterday that the justice in chambers ordered that they have a session and blah blah blah. Others said that the majority bloc will bar it down. But what I listened to yesterday and what I saw was that the Associate Justice Yamin Bese did not give a ruling. Instead, he reserved ruling.
Okay, so that was the explanation from the ELBC Supreme Court reporter who was there, and she gave us that information. Now, and just as she was saying, we also learned now that the Supreme Court have not ruled one way or other, except to say they lifted whatever state order they had before. So that goes in line with the Walter Cutter. Let me come back to you. Can you finish your point? Then we'll go around the room here.
Yeah. So like I said, today news that filtered around the place. They lifted the stay order and all that kind of stuff. It's just going back to where, like I said, the Supreme Court is saying, look, you know, having due process is the way forward. You guys go and settle everything, and then you got continue instead of keeping that stay order on that they had before. Okay, but back to the educational piece, the scholarship. Look, I think it's about time that Liberia, our leaders, be very innovative. Instead of taking $25 million to send 250 people abroad to study, whether the STEM program or not, that $25 million could be invested in education in Liberia and pay professional professor or even professional Liberians to go back to Liberia and teach more than 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 students in our country, that they will have the same education, qualification when it comes to America. Because there's a possibility, like everybody's saying, that even if the guy, and I'm not against people coming to America to go to school or going to Europe, but when you come here and stay and enjoy the good life and make the money that people say you make, sometimes you don't even want to go back to make $25,000. You're making $100,000. Somebody say go back to Liberia and make $10,000 a year. You don't want to do that. But the thing about it is, for our country, for us to break the cycle of illiteracy in our country, is for us to pay professional people to go there and teach the vast majority of students, instead of taking few people from here and bringing them abroad, taking few people from there and bringing them abroad with the hope that they do not return. And even if they return, they do not give their quota to society. And so I got one of my cousins right here. He lived in Indiana, or engineer by profession. This man, his church sent him to Nima County. Every 3 months, he goes to Nima, leave from America, goes straight to Nima County in the village, in the forest, to go and teach people there. They open a university there where they're teaching people, and these are things that people are supposed to do. Instead of taking our people and bringing in here and leaving vast majority of the country, uneducated. I think the smart thing to do is to invest heavily in education in Liberia, creating a good environment, building good infrastructure, giving good, like Mr. Toll, Samson Toll. Somebody could pay you 150,000, put you in a nice villa where you go and teach the Liberian people how to do roles. I mean, let's be honest, let's be serious here.
That one I laugh because my station manager who looking at me now will say, "You're paying, you're giving it to me. I will keep it for him."
No. It's a very. Let be very serious. I mean, I understand we crack the joke, but let be honest here. For the vast knowledge you know about road construction, knowing our country does not have roads, if you were giving 150,000 and put in a nice area to stay, and you impacting knowledge into our people, into road construction or engineering, you want to tell me the 10,000 students that will sit on you, they will not benefit? Then they'll take 3 students from here and get pay $300,000 to go to university, and they give you $100,000 to teach people for 1 whole year. That would be better than to bring 2 persons here to learn engineering. I'm just saying, you got to be innovative.
Thank you. Let me come to Jerry. Folks, again, if you're listening, Samson to Labrador Public Radio, the host of the show is here, but the opportunity is given me tonight to host that, and he might take it anytime. His co-host can grab it from me anytime, and that's okay with me as well. But let me just go to Jerry. Jerry, on a very serious note, where are we heading? Where are we heading with these two subject matter? And I will come to Terry right after you because I think the video that I played, perhaps Terry can comment on that. But where are we heading, Jerry, on these two subject matter here tonight?
You see, the rate of prohibition.
Jerry, please, again, let me, every time that when you and I have these conversations, when my question is asked to you, I want you to wrap around that question from a security perspective. The reason I'm saying this because so that our brothers and sisters that are listening, that perhaps might take one side or the other, what are the security implications on these subject matters? Go ahead, Jerry. We got to utilize your service. I mean, you're here with our expertise. We can't go and borrow Ghanaians to come teach us. Please.
Thank you. Yes, the rate of prohibition. It was 1920. Alcohol was sold, and people, the alcohol they tried to abolish it. But the rate of prohibition today, with the Supreme Court said, look, listen, we don't have to say we're going to issue that rate of prohibition to bring these people into the chamber. The Supreme Court said, no, we don't have that power. So, the speaker. He said he will still fight. I mean, that's what lawyers do. If you file for an emotion, it left for the court to allow it, and the court said we deny it. That's a process. So the rate of prohibition he requested for, the Supreme Court said no. His second step, he said, if you read the whole article that he said he won 4 chambers instead of 1 judge. He wanted 4 chambers to review the rate of prohibition. That's what he are requesting for now. So the first judge that was in chamber deny it. Then now he is requesting that he want 4, I think there are 5, there are 5 justices. They wanted 5 justices to deliberate on it. So that's an important thing. So he playing the legal card to the right to hearability. So that's interesting. But let's come to the education we have been discussing. It also had implication. Look at our brothers and sisters, our nieces and nephews, our children in that place there. Look at the delinquency. And sometimes it's sad to say this thing, but in the police, it also is a liability to our national security. Because when people are not making money, people are not working, it's a liability to the government because the criminal activity is high. Pregnancy is high. And guess what? When he born these children, and the children end up back in the institution of South Beach, and it has some implication when it comes to this. So education is very important. And I hope this program They will really look at it from different perspectives, analyze it properly, and make a good judgment on it, rather than just let me conclude with it. I was a victim myself. When I came to work at the United Nations, I worked in the United Nations for 4 years, and time came, the government said they couldn't pay me again. So I was thrown out. They couldn't, my money was not coming on time. So what happened? I have to leave the service. So think about it. How many people will come in this country and they say, okay, we're going to do the program? I want you to listen very well. That's basically something you talk about. Let me give an analysis on it. If we send 25 students, out of that 25 students, how many will go back home? Because maybe they put you in a hotel, or they send you on one of the campuses, and your money is not coming on time. The university is saying, you know what, we can't keep you anymore because the money is not coming in. So now you're going to leave the study. And where do you have money now to return home? Guess what?
No, but Jerry, that's not gonna be the case, because there's the company.
I'm doing hypothetically. I'm not saying
Oh,
that's what's
okay,
going to happen.
okay,
I'm just doing
all right,
hypothetically because
okay,
you got to
all
look at the other side and say, what you asked me for the security implication. I just try to give you something, and the person going to blame into this community. They're not going to go back home because you know what? They are left campus, the money is not coming in, or the hotel bill or the campus they own, they're not paying the dormitory fee. So all these things, we have to study what is the impact. I mean, it might be a good program, but it got a lot of loophole for us to study first.
Thank you, Jared. Let me go to Dr. Malley, then Mr. So, and then Terry will close on that one, or go to something. Dr. Malley, as I stated earlier, can you now give us the benefit? You give us the negative side of this whole coin here, as we call it. If you care to, though, you don't have to. What would be the benefit on this thing, a positive side of this thing? Or if there's none, please stay so and say your reason why.
Before I get to the benefit, I just wanted to make a few comments on the clip you just played.
Yeah, please.
Yes. I just followed the clip, and this reporter is telling Liberians that it has been established constitutionally that the legal mind that the Supreme Court have absolute authority over this case. Granted, what are the articles to justify her claim she went mute in that era? Secondly, we've been on the platform saying that there have been a state order on these people. That would be in violation of Article 3, the separation of power. So if our argument is that, yes, the state order was put in place, what did they do to the group? It didn't do nothing to them. They were asked to go back to chamber. They disobeyed the Supreme Court order. So what I'm saying here is that the Supreme Court don't have the constitutional mandate to rather deal with this issue rather than reconciliation.
Can I inject a little bit?
Yeah.
In that explanation she gave us, she stated that the parties involved agrees, and yes, indeed, that the Supreme Court have import or have control over the matter. The two groups, their lawyer agrees. But
Wait
go
a
ahead,
minute
make a
now.
point.
Yeah, this is a reporter. The reporter is educating us. We're all not in that chamber. So if the reporter is coming to tell the world that the two parties agree that the Supreme Court have jurisdiction over this case, this reporter will educate on the constitutional provision if it were ever said there. But if it were not said there, it's a loophole. The conversation can be challenged. So let's get back to the educational piece.
Great job, co-host.
Thank you.
Mr. So, we're having a wonderful conversation tonight. There's no antagonizing each other here. We're having a good intellectual engagement. I will hope that it stays, or else I will pack you in the garage. Go ahead, Dr. Mary.
CEO, I mean, Liberal decided to remain quiet because you are in the seat of the CEO, and I respect that seat a whole lot, and that's why I'm holding back my firepower. But however, let's move on to the issue of education. As we said, we all agree here that it's a very brilliant idea to send your people outside. The focus has always been we're sending the people to America. We send the people to America. This time alone, let's forget about America. This is where I'm coming from. And secondly, the government will have to put its house in place. We need to identify science and technology is a vast area. Which one of area that is very germane to our development in Liberia? We need to define it.
Okay.
That's the first thing. But here will be my proposal finally.
Yeah, please.
Then we have 25 million set aside. You will agree with me that before 1980, Liberia was one of the best places in Africa for education, and people were going there to learn to our medical school. Because why? We have foreigners sitting in these places, helping the country, helping Liberians. So I would want to suggest that the 25 million, since we have identified 2,500 people, I would want for us to use the 25 million, first of all, come up with a proposal to erect a science and technology university in Liberia for the first time.
Thank you.
Then we have the Ghanaians who are experts in this area. They even have one such university to guide the process. Then thirdly, we go through our various associations in Liberia, in America, Europe. Those of our brothers who are well versed in the sciences at so many levels, we get them to add to the foreigners to help our brothers in Liberia. Because the temptation is this. Keto just said we can treat no people back home. We have what I call the academic environment in Liberia is very corrupt. It's morally corrupt. You get there now, it will consume you. All right? You, Mr. Todd, they put you in a place right now, you will be consumed by corruption. And we don't want to avoid the temptation. You see?
Thank you.
So
Thank
that
you.
would be my proposal.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me go to Mr. So. Terry will come to you shortly. Mr. So, any contrary to all of the conversation that's been happening so far, or you're in agreement with it? And if so, you want to elaborate on that, please, if you don't mind.
I think two of my independents, they are doing a very great job. They are in the interest of speaking to the hearts and minds of the people. Look, you, Ome, there's video you brought here, and it's good that Madi put you in check. All is nothing but to validate that you are always on the State Broadcasting Corporation. That's just all about it. That's all about it. Because this lady, I don't know why you played this. What was the takeaway? Her argument was not balanced. It was not proportional. But you just showcased this here. Maybe you talk to your man Jerry Barker and perhaps Terry part of it and all of that, just to show to the audience here the Liberal is always on the state media. Don't waste our time here. I don't have time for that. But I think Keto,
Mr. Deputy Presiding, I think you're in error.
but quickly here, like I said, just based on the conversation that I'm hearing, I hope to read or maybe the story, whatever it is. But this concept, we have something in our own country. We have institutions. We are not building our people. We are not creating that attraction that for people, the job that they are doing, they will love what they do and will be committed to it. Part of that is we go out there. When you have teachers that are volunteering, thousands, hundreds of teachers that are volunteering, not on salary, simply because maybe government said it doesn't have money, whatever it is, because there's no training facility, because there's no benefits to where they will be. If you have that, if I were within the close proximity of Vice President, and not just to entice public because you want to have a quick fix, I think you'll begin to invest into what you have, because those are things that are with you that it can empower you. Yes, I understand where Dr. Mali coming from, and that's the beauty of this network. We can agree and disagree, and then now we can have this sort of conversation. The issue of corruption consumption, well, and this is why we got to stand firm to make these institutions work and to make it more attractive, so that people, even who here, who are professional, they will see what their own country offering, and they will go and give back, not just giving back, but it will commensurate with what they are giving. So those people they are bringing, they would never have any plan in place. All we'll get to know when you go find out at the end of the day, it will be all of those people, the elite or those people that are in government, it will be so their relative. It would never be open to the public. The man way in Biaya Johnson that who qualify, we don't know what sort of benchmark they're going to set. So it's another waste of government resources that I can tell you for now, forecast that it would never produce a result, because it would be the most corrupt people. People are going to start representatives, senator, people close to authority. Will start making recommendation. They will pick the people and they will just leave and come and sit. Whether they go to school, they not go to school. At the end of the day, they file some sort of asylum and nothing going to come out of it. So if I were closer to the president, like you guys and Bacon, hey, and I like what Bacon started here tonight, which is good. It's all about the country. I think they need to invest in those young people, those teachers, those people that are making ultimate sacrifices. You want to maybe rehabilitate the Kakata Rural Training Institute. You want to enhance the MVTC, make it more viable, decentralize it, not just only in Morovia, maybe divide the country into zones. The country Liberia, where we are now, more like vocational skills is what matters now. Technical something, but I'll listen to something from MVTC, what they were talking, something, I mean, it's just terrible. So I think they need to have a second thought in order to do what they want to do.
Thank you. Let me come to you, Terry, and then after that, we will about maybe 10, 15 minutes, get into the American election. But we will explore the American election from the perspective of lesson learned, and how can that lesson
So
learned
I'm
be applied.
off a little bit. Take charge. You're doing great, and just keep doing what you're doing. But in the meantime, if I'm not here, Dr. Mali is my proxy, immediate proxy with Keto. Okay.
You and Dr. Mali, you don't stand on nothing here tonight. I'm in charge. Let me just tell you. But anyhow, let me come to you, Terry, and then we will, like I said, we will discuss the American politics in the election, lesson learned, what are those applicable lesson learned that can directly impact future Liberian election. But let's hear from you, Terry, on these two subject matter. If you can wrap it up for us on that.
Yeah, so the aspect of the court proceeding and all of that, I think the lady is a journalist. We can't beat on her. The video you played, she was just doing her job. She's not a lawyer. She was just giving an observation on what she saw or what they heard in the court. And for us in the public now to evaluate it and know exactly what's really transpired there. So I think that the position of the court, again, is determined by the writ that was filed. If the writ was to put a prohibition on the functions of the majority black, I don't know if the Supreme Court has the power to do that, because for what I read, the Supreme Court can only put a steel order or issue to intervene in matters like this when there is a breach against the Constitution. In this regard, there is no breach. This majority black is saying that according to Article 33, that they say, according to it, that, each house that have majority can form a quorum. So if maybe the guy was going to file a writ of prohibition, to stop the majority black from operating or exercising their authority based on the constitution that they are using, maybe the court will have looked at that. But right now, what they writ that Fonati filed, and you must also understand that each Supreme Court judge have, I think, about 4 clerks, and all the clerks are professional lawyers. They are very much brilliant lawyers. The Supreme Court does not host any lawyer. Certain lawyer cannot enter in the Supreme Court to discuss any case. So this is why the judge in chambers decided to get residue from his clerks and all of that as to how to proceed in ruling on the matter. And the guy did rule on the matter today by lifting up the prohibition rate. And I don't know if the remaining judges, even if Fonati filed a rate, the remaining judges will be able to overturn that. Why? Because the rate he filed first does not go against the operation of the majority bloc. So except he will choose to file a different rate before the Supreme Court can look into that. Because that will be a whole Supreme Court can only look at the case that on file. The case, what he filed on. That is what they're going to discuss. So that is why lawyers can always guide the process of a person who filing a complaint. The lawyer will guide the process. Like I said the last time when I went to the court, the case the magistrate court, there was a case filed on me. The magistrate court went and took that case on a different level. When we went to the Supreme Court, the woman said, this is the case that is filed on this man. Instead, you went and brought another matter that is not part of the case that will file against this man. That is why we're going to rule against it. So the Supreme Court can only discuss the case that you file. So I think what Honorable Kofa is having problem with, it is based on what he filed to the Supreme Court. If he say, okay, I'm filing because these people refuse to give me due process, that is what the Supreme Court is going to rule on. So on the issue of what Keto was saying, Keto is a guy you're talking about. Keto was sat on the radio, on the station here and told us that LTA, is paying too much money, 15 grand, to one person. That he the one saying that our government should pay 100,000 to labor to go teach engineering. You see how you want damage our government? We're not going to listen to you. That Tabata you talking Keto, we're not going to listen to it. Because that thing will it will be a complete setup. I think that 25 million to train 250 persons is very welcoming. Because the 250 persons that will learn in engineering, sciences, and all of that, that knowledge will be with them forever. They will return back to the country after 5 to 6 years.
Right. Don't get distracted.
Dr. Tutu, I'm not a legal person, but I hang around a lot of I hang around some legal practitioners and luminaries. I'm not a legal guy. But yeah, so what I'm saying is that the aspect of human capital is very important for economic development. We have been struggling to recuperate from the war. And one of the major reasons why we're struggling is because of misplacement. Dr. Madi said that earlier on after the election. Misplacement of our human resource or our human capital. People are being arranged in the wrong place. People are misplaced. You go to the university, you see thousands of university students coming out of the university who learning business, who learning public administration, and all of that. When you have infrastructural development going on in the country, vast majority of our people who go to school, they have no knowledge in that area. So if even we're planning for future development, who is going to develop the country? No wonder why your country, you bring in Ghanaians to do electricity in your country. You're looking for other people to come do road. We were just talking about the inept process of the University of Liberia. Are you telling us that we should take that money and use it on the very Liberians who are very, very corrupt, to bring it to that corrupt system, to go spend that $24 million will go in the breeze and our people will not learn anything. So the best thing here is for the 250 persons to come to the United States. And again, lastly, before I close with labor, the people don't trust us. That is probably the reason why they're passing the money through a collateral and all the kind of thing, to help us to bring our own people here to go through training, build up our human capital for them to come back and train other people in our area. You spending more than 100 million on lawmakers who don't even know the law. They don't even know how to read their own law. Then you're telling me that to spend 25 million on 250 persons who are Liberians that are coming to learn greatly and be impacted for the rest of life to come back home and train other Liberians. You telling me that that is wrong? Do you know how many millions of dollars you can spend on the House of Representatives and Senate? So I will just leave it there because I can go on, but I don't want to, you hijack the show. But that is what it is, Libra. Thank you.
The Libra, can I just push back for a little bit before you bring the other topic in?
Go ahead,
Libra. You muted. Are you on the phone? Okay,
yeah,
so no, I'm muted. I know. I realized that. But we'll come to you very quickly, Kurt, and if you can just give us maybe 30 seconds, because I want also jump to. I'm going to be opening the line very shortly. Give us 30 seconds of your.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about the American election, but this thing is important, Mr. To and it's so unfortunate that my brother is not looking at the bigger picture yet, right? Look, there's a saying, common saying. They say, teach me to fish and I become a fisherman, right? Don't give me fish because I will become a liability. All the time when you give people hand off, they become liability. When you teach them, they become master of the game to do stuff. Now, what I'm saying here, right? $25 million can rehabilitate a lot of institutions in Liberia. Can even build new institutions in Liberia. I'm talking about educational institutions in Liberia. And if the government serious to impact knowledge and break the cycle of illiteracy in our country, is to tap into professional people like Samson told, like some sophisticated teachers that are teaching university in this country. All right? Carry them over there and pay them just pay to impact knowledge into more than 200,000-300,000 students. Instead of using $25 million to bring 250 people abroad.
Thank you.
Of course, most of them will not even go back to the country to impact that knowledge to the Liberian people. That's what I'm saying.
How sure are you?
Thank you. Okay. Terry, we're going to do one at a time. We'll come to you. All right, let me go to Dr. Mary. Dr. Mary, this other subject matter we're just going to talk about. We're only going to take 5 minutes on it. What I want us to discuss and address is the lesson learned, everything that happened on the U.S. Election. What are some of the good things that perhaps we can take to Liberia? Dr. Mary, 1 minute, please.
Well, they are both positive and negative to learn from. They just ended the election. From my own perspective, the United States of America is a very, very sophisticated society. And the United States has built itself from that pattern. So the issue of, I'm sorry to say, but this is my opinion. The issue
you're entitled to it, sir.
Yeah. The issue of having a woman president in the United States, due to the sophistication of this nation, is something that I've been having problem with all along. And particularly so, a black female president. And I'm saying there to say that from my own assessment, when His Excellency,
let me push you. You're not just going to get away with that. What's wrong with a black female wants to be president? What's wrong with that?
Due to the sophistication of this nation.
Explain to us. Give us a little bit information when you talk about sophistication.
Okay, let me just address.
What do you mean by that?
I'm coming now. I know you understand the very amendment of this country. Yeah. I know you understand the very rights of this country. Let's just narrow ourselves to one of them.
Okay.
The right to bear arms.
Okay.
The right to bear arms is one of those rights that were enshrined into this constitution because people were breaking homes at that time and harassing people. Now it has gone beyond that. People are no more limiting themselves to the type of arm they need to protect themselves.
Dr. Mary, can you
question.
tie the sophistication and the black woman want to be president? Can you tie it? Because I just don't see it yet. And that's what I'm pushing you on that.
That's what I'm saying. Give me a chance. You keep interrupting me, then you're not going to get the point. I just told you about the right to bear arms. That one of the sophistication that I see, a woman cannot manage, a black woman for that matter. And a woman for that matter
cannot manage the right to bear arms.
They cannot manage to control the right to bear arms. Yes.
But the right to bear arms is part of the Constitution. So
no, there's so much thing into the right to bear arms in this country. It's
the
not
right
just bearing
to bear arms. The right to bear arms is not part of the U.S. Constitution.
Libra, it will carry a conversation like that. Then
no, but you said no. I said something. You said no, and I'm
okay. Can you jot down your point and let me learn, because this is complete interruption.
It make out 1 minute, Mr. Tole.
Dr. Madam, this is not a courthouse. It's an interaction.
No,
I'm not gonna write anything. It's an interaction.
Oh, some era is interaction, and some era you tell people wait when your time comes. No, we're not going to play the card that way, old man.
Dr. Mari, he's the moderator.
No,
he can intercept you anytime.
Dr. Mari,
no.
Dr. Mari, there's no here. We are having conversation.
Okay,
the question you said, let me hold you on this here. I'm not gonna go through the periphery of this. You said to us that that America is sophisticated, and one of the sophistication reasons that you're giving is that black woman cannot be president in America because America is sophisticated. And one of the reasons you're giving as an example of the sophistication level you're talking about, you're saying that the right to bear arms is not in the Constitution. Am I correct?
No, you misquoted me. I didn't tell you that.
All right, please explain that then.
Okay. Do you agree that you will not interrupt me again?
No, I don't agree.
Okay, but then I yield.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to back. Jerry.
So it's me.
No, we're going to go around. Jerry, go ahead. Let Jerry
let you go ahead. Get up in there. Let him go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me go ahead. So I think the topic you put on Bo here is different from what Mr. June saying. You say what lesson learned from the American election compared to our election in Liberia. So a couple of things we gotta line out here, right? The first thing is democratic tenets were exhibited in this election, where the former president won the election, and the vice president who contested to conceded to him. Plus, if we compare that to our society, President Weah lost the election to Joseph Boakai. He conceded even before the election results were announced. Big. So it means that our democracy in Liberia is maturing as the American democracy.
So are you suggesting to us, Walter Carter, that the American can learn from us?
No, I'm telling you, our democracy is maturing as American democracy. America has a veteran democracy. Our democracy is maturing to the extent where we see leaders in our country.
Is there any process we can take from the U.S. election?
So let me tell you something. If we, I think we are practicing the same democracy, but that's something I want Liberians to learn from this election.
I understand. Thank you for that. But I want you to pinpoint, because we're not about to pinpoint. I want you to pinpoint what we can take from here to take back home.
That's what I want for the pick. That's what I want for the pick, but you gotta give me a chance to tell you what I want for the pick.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Because there are some things that happen in the election that are not very good for our society. When we see double standard, we saw people in previous election in this country that had stigma on them. They didn't even make it to the primary. As soon as you are discovered of having a little stigma, you are out. Today we see a convicted individual become president of the United States of America. This is something that we would not accept in our society, because the Americans did not accept it years ago and they are falling for it today. It speaks volume. Back in the days, If you have this stigma in your society,
So
you
then
have
let me borrow Dr. Mali's big word, sophistication. So
I
perhaps America has become so sophisticated that these kinds of things are no longer uh, 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 reason to stop you from being elected.
let's see the next election. If
Okay,
somebody come
thank
with
you.
a tinted character, if they will allow them to go. So what
Thank
I'm
you.
trying to tell you, our society should do the just thing, because we got leaders in our society that
Thank
are so morally bankrupt,
No,
and this
thank
society
you,
is
thank you.
putting
You're
them on
coming now. You're
sanction.
coming too close. Let me go
No,
to
I
Terry.
mean,
You're
the
coming
society
too
is putting
close.
them on
Thank you,
sanction.
thank you, thank you.
Mr. Tony, you can't
We
be
will
like that.
come to
Mr.
you
Tony, we
later.
are
We will
learning.
come, Terry.
Anyway, go ahead, go ahead.
Walter Carter will come to you. Terry, let's hear from you. What can we learn from this election that perhaps we can take back home, or what are some of the things in this election that you will want us to stay away from? Let's hear from you.
Well, that's a very good question. One of the things we need to learn from these elections is the transparency in the elections, wherein the sitting leadership is now running all over the place, trying to rig the election from the from Donald Trump, even though he had been in court, he was accused of being a felon. But we must learn that the democracy that is practiced in the U.S. is with integrity, transparency, wherein you know the will of the people become the decision of the nation. If the people say they want a felon they will have. That one aspect. What we need to, so in Liberia, when they come to our electoral processes, we all running here and there, people trucking people doing all this kind of stuff. I think we need to understand that we need to allow the will of the people to be decided. We said, oh, Nathaniel McGay was with sanction, Bill Twelve was with sanction, but that was what the people wanted. So we cling to ourselves and condemn our people that they're taking people with sanction. But this is America now that is taking a president that have been that verdict was came down upon. So it tells you
You
that,
scared to say conviction or convicted?
well, I don't want to go down that route. You can go
Okay.
there when the time comes. But what I want to say is that the Americans have chosen the person they wanted, and now they have that person. So
Okay.
we need to respect the rights of people. And sometimes we may not like it, but that is what it is. That also go to seditions, that we claim that sedition law President we are, even though he can't speak English good, he did that and all the kind of thing. But that is the will of the people. If the people say, well, that President we are won't, give them President we are. I also want to agree with Dr. Mali on that point he made, that the American people are not ready for a black woman to be president. The person who came close to the presidency in America here was Hillary Clinton. Are they ready for for a woman? And I think Kamala Harris did very well, because it was in a short period of time the people were paying attention to Joe Biden, but Joe Biden does not have the capacity to lead. Kamala was able to do very well in a short period of time to turn things around in her favor. Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, the next election, wherein Donald Trump will be
What
out of
can
the
we
picture.
take out of this to take home? What can we not take out of this to take home?
But what we can take home
You
here,
said
I just said it.
transparency. Transparency. You
That
said we can take transparency, right?
yeah, we can
Okay.
take. That's all I see so far, because
Okay, thank
the
you. So
rest
but
is
there's
history.
nothing yet we can reject.
Yeah, what we can reject is the will of the people sometimes contravene the will of the people. The will of the people sometimes contravene the the rights of the people. Because if you choose somebody who does not have
Stay in the
somebody
church.
who,
The
huh?
way of the people contravene the right of the people. Stay in the church. Preach to us. Let me go to Jared.
Okay.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. There you are. What there's nothing you want to take here that is negative. Okay, Jared, let's come to you in 1 minute, please, so we can jump onto the other subject matter and then I'll open the line. Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, we learn a lot. We learn a lot from this gone election yesterday or to today. And yes, America learning from us. We had the first female president in Africa. Then in second female in South Sudan. Look at South America. Mexico next door to us. They just elected a female president. And is America is ready? I think when the election will come here, I said it on the show, if we can go replay. Look, it's going to take us some time. Obama was the first black president. And I asked the question, are they ready? They gave a black president, male president, Mr. Obama, they gave it presidency. Then are they going to let another female president to be a president? These are the questions I was asking. But yes, a result that we have. But you know what? There's a lesson learned from here. America can learn from us. Argentina, Great Britain, Margaret Thatcher. She stood up to Ronald Reagan. You know, she was very. I mean, that's what they call Iron Lady. Who the other country again? We got Argentina. We got Great Britain. We got South Sudan. We got Liberia. So
we got the country down south of Australia.
Okay, fine. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of countries. Are making a lot of changes. So there's a lesson.
Germany.
Okay. Oh, yeah, fine. I forgot about okay, I forgot about her too. Thank you. So there are a lot of things that happen if America is ready to go apart. It still remains to be seen.
Thank you.
We are making some progress on that issue when it comes to America.
Let me go back to Dr. Malley. Dr. Malley, the 1 minute, please. You care to contribute, or you don't want to go through that? Malawi as well.
Yeah.
Evis says. Go ahead, Dr. Malley. 1 minute, please.
Yeah, what I want to let the panelists know is that democracy is not a fixed theory. It works hand in hand with human institutions. It can be invaded. We saw what happened in this country. There's nothing in this country that can be compared to Liberia in the first place. Lastly, depending on the environment in which that democracy is taking place, you have 79% of the people in this country well educated, who know their way out, who use their own judgment and critical analysis as to who to vote for. These are people, they're not voting for people because you're giving them fish and a cup of rice and a chicken cube. As compared to your place, you get 48.
When you say chicken what? Chicken what?
Chicken feet or chicken cube.
Chicken cube? Dr. Malley, you've been away from the country too long.
No.
Chicken cube or chicken soup? Chicken soup.
I said chicken cube. I'm saying chicken
soup. They don't call it chicken cube. I could have said chicken soup.
No. Oh man, go to your research. We're not in classroom now. I'm saying here is,
Dr. Malley, I don't mean to interrupt.
You are causing problem for the program.
Okay. Terry, how you call chicken soup?
Terry, how you call it?
Terry, how you call it?
You don't know why. You don't even know why. You don't even know why.
No, the real address, the one side English.
I said you don't even know why I call chicken cube.
There we go, chicken soup. Okay, go ahead, Dr.
You don't know why I even call chicken cube. You don't even know it.
No, but okay, go ahead.
I'm not talking about market cube. I'm not talking about chicken soup. I said chicken cube.
Okay.
I feel eating to some of the top restaurants in America.
Go ahead.
But anyway, we'll come to that. This is a country you have 48.3% literate rate in our country. Then you want to compare it with this country, then you say something to learn from. Tara was just bringing something into perspective here. We have people who ran into this election, they are stigmatized about a whole lot of stuff. Yes, the people voted for those type of people. You know why? We have cultural
30 seconds. Take us what we can get out of this to take over there. What we cannot take out.
There is nothing we can get out of here.
Okay.
Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Okay. There's nothing in this election we can take back home.
In the first place, people on sanction, you put them on taxpayer, they ran, and the president. I mean, they ran in the house, they on taxpayer money. All right? People here stigmatized with a whole lot of crime around them. They still put them in. So where you got to learn here?
Okay. Thank you. Don't
tell me thank you. What you got to learn here?
Thank you, Dr. Malley. Thank you for your insight. We appreciate. Okay, let's go. We're gonna wrap it up now. We're gonna wrap it up while we're waiting for the call. we're gonna go ahead and give us. Let's go 1 minute around again. 1 minute around. Terry, let's start with you. What do you want the
So
audience that
you
listen
John
to?
want me again? Why you not John want me? Hey, you go back
We're
to
gonna
Terry.
see you. We're gonna see you. We're gonna
All
see
right,
you.
go ahead.
I see you. Let Terry on the whole conversation tonight. What I want you to give me a pinpoint ideas or pinpoint some area you will hope the audience and the listener will take away from this conversation. There are two major conversations we have tonight. But anyway, you give me your area of what do you think audience should concentrate on?
Well, I think like for the era of Donald Trump case that you want us to talk about, or in my mind, one of the major reasons why Kamala Harris lost the elections was because she was not popular. It was Biden that made her popular, and she did not address the issue that really bothering the people, which is the economy. That I listened to a lot of Americans saying that, oh, when Donald Trump was there, they were getting free money. Donald Trump can give people money. So,
Okay, Terry, just hold on 1 minute. Let me answer this caller.
yeah, sure.
Caller, go ahead. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
This is Zinan D. Calling from somewhere in Iowa.
Thank you.
But there's so many things to touch on, but I'll just touch on one thing that really came to my attention.
Please.
One of the brother mentioned that Donald Trump is a convicted felon and you still became a president. I don't know why you've been following the issue of Donald Trump, because when you follow the issue of Donald Trump, you know that those charges are bogus charges. Those are made-up charges that they try to implicate on Donald Trump to deny him this election. Just in my own opinion, because I follow the issue very closely.
That's an Iowa opinion. Go ahead, express it.
Yes. If you have been following the issue, you know that when those charges was first brought against him, I think the statutory for those charges has elapsed. They went ahead and formed new laws just to indict Donald Trump. So people who got common sense, or people who have been following the case, they know that those were not legitimate. Those were all made up just to put a guy in trouble. We know Donald Trump's an idiot. We all know that. We're not denying that. But those charges were not legitimate. So you cannot use that and say he's a felon, looking at how those charges were brought upon him if you have been studying the case. If there was legitimacy to those charges, people were not going to vote for Donald Trump. But because those charges were made up, it refused the idea of people wanting to vote for him, because they look at the whole scenario that surrounds those charges. I just want to point that out. And then one last thing real quick. The doctor tried to criticize the lady, saying that how the America is so sophisticated for the lady. And he couldn't even defend that. And I like the way how Mr. Toad tried to corner him. I really enjoy that. So I'm going to just sit here and listen. Thanks for the show, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, Samson Toll, I'm your public radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
How you doing, Mr. Toll? Mr. Toll, this is Samson from
Evan, thank you very much. But you know, area that is badly echoed much. Go ahead. What's on your mind, sir?
All right, thank you. Hello to you and hello to the panel. Look, like I think it was, I don't know who said, but I think the issue of the economy, the perception of the economy not doing well, you know, the fallacy of it is probably what caused the election. And also, like you said, she's a woman running for president.
Can you hold on 1 minute? Let me see if I can merge you. I hope this person is calling and now calling from I owe so many billion in America. I hope they're not taking me to court right now. Hold on. Let me put you on. Hello, are you calling for to make contribution to LPR, or are you calling for some sort of a rate of arrest?
I'm calling for red arrest for Dr. Jones.
Okay, Evans, go ahead, make a point. So the guy who bringing the red arrest for Dr. Jugia express it. Go ahead, Evans, make a point.
All right, thank you. Look, so for me, I think what we can learn when it comes to politics in this country is that I'm a Democrat, and I think a Democrat has to learn a lesson that being Mr. Nice Guy in America is no longer going to work. You need a bully. You need somebody who, excuse my word, is an asshole. Somebody who is not a nice person to run for president, because this tells you who America is. They elected this guy twice, and he nearly won in 2020. So this is the country that we live in. If you're looking for decency in politics, and you're looking for Mr. Nice Guy, forget about it. And I think a lot of the world leaders, the far right wing in many of these countries, places like Germany and France, in other places, you see them coming to prominence because they are taking the playbook from Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Just be abrasive, be rude, be disrespectful, and those people who inner self is reflected through you would draw to you. So more than we think, most of our neighbors, most of our colleagues that we work with at work, their inner self is being reflected through Donald Trump.
True.
All of the things that they want to say to certain people, certain race of people, Donald Trump is saying it for them. And they give him their vote as a reward for speaking the things that they really want to say, but they can't say because people will judge them. So this is the country we live in. Let's see how the next 4 years will go. This is a setback for Democrats, but it's not the end. We can always make a comeback in 2028. And hopefully things will be in a position where Democrats can make the case. And lastly, for the Liberian situation, look, who would have thought that a man like Thomas Fala, who his grandpa from Norfolk County had never helped him in political life, George Weah had helped him and propelled him and sent him to the position that he has today, will want to turn his back on the CDC simply because it now favors him. You're seeing people metamorphosize right before our eyes in the political scene based on certain alignments that they feel serve their best interests.
Thank you.
And they forget those who brought them to prominence. This is the Liberian way of doing things.
Thank you.
For having me.
Thank you very much. Okay, caller, with the rate of arrest for Dr. Malice, let's hear from you.
Yeah, Libra, this is Dr. Toto.
Yes, I see that. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. I'm just supporting Dr. Joe's statement regarding black women. I think that the Jew is kind of tired tonight. After the show, he didn't go back and retake that statement he did for black women. I don't think that's a good statement.
Thank you. But you know he's entitled to his views.
I mean, he started the video, but people can call on that video also too. That would be the right to question.
Yeah. No, you have the right to question that. I just want to express it. Okay. All right.
Also
Yeah, go ahead.
When it comes to the election, what you can take away from the election, for the U.S. election, and to have an election in Liberia or the economy.
Okay.
You see people in America, you go to the pump, a lot of things at the gas station. You go to grocery, people complain about how the cost of living, home care, everything's so expensive.
Right.
So you see, as a result, people spoke to their vote. And getting back to Liberia, you see the cost of living in Liberia is very high.
Right.
And there were people can be carried. People carried back on right to them. People gave their hand, to convene and to vote. If only our people can make a good decision through the economy like Liberia, also to choose some other politicians like Liberia, our election will be as compared as the one we have in the U.S. here. But the 2029 election coming like Liberia will be a key election we're going to watch also to see if our people will make some of the big differences, looking at the hardship in the country.
Thank you. Okay, that will be the last caller. Dr. Toto, thank you very much for your contribution. Okay, again, folks, what we do here on LPR, we're here to express ideas. You might not agree with our idea, but those are our own. And I think as long as we stay within the confine of decency, we should be allowed to express ourselves. My Esther, I think this election, you and I, we don't get along on a lot of things, but I think this election really shook me as well. I couldn't sleep well last night, but I think again we must allow each other to truly express ourselves without trying to tie us down to a particular ideas or what have you. We're all here. We have our own feelings and what have you. But I'm grateful you're expressing your feeling. What we can say about this election, this is America election, but we live here. Some of us have been living here for almost 40, 50 years. So we've been here for quite a while. So I think our neighbor strain and what have you tied back into town most of our lives here in America, and we would like to see the decencies of the United States continue. For it to be interrupted, in my opinion, last night was very hurtful. But that does not mean anyone who support or express support for Donald Trump that person does not, in your own words, does not have love for the female friends or the female relatives of their in their family. But let's move on, guys, as we go on now. We're way out of time. So, Mr. So, when you're ready, throw your thumb up, and I will bring you in. Okay. So let's Terry, go ahead and give us 30 seconds of your time, and we'll go 1 minute each, folks. 1 minute each. Mr. So, if you're ready, throw your thumb up, and we'll bring you in. Okay.
Yeah.
He's not ready. Terry, go ahead. 1 minute.
So,
30 seconds.
So people claim that America is a racist country. We all know that, but you still live here with peace. You live here with stability. So not because the people choose Donald Trump, so that means they're racist. All right. I think we need to get past that. We need to also look
You
at
didn't throw your thumb up. You just put yourself in like that. Go ahead, Terry.
I think we need to look at the economy because that is the people's concern. And we also need to look at the immigrant, the flux of immigrant. In as much as we don't want to talk about it, there is no country on the planet that will be satisfied with immigrants who enter the country illegally. I know that there are hundreds of people from Liberia and other places who are here and they stay here for some time and get a document, but that has been one of their concerns. And politically,
Terry, just hold on 1 minute, please. I'll give you one more. I'll give you another 30 seconds. Man says Esther, I bet if you have the opportunity to truck Liberians to come from Liberia to come vote you, you are going to truck people in. She's really says Esther. We got to put some fun in this thing here. Go ahead, Terry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we got to look at that because that have been the issue. They claim that, and to my working place, the African American, most of them don't want immigrants here. And I was telling somebody, I said, Donald Trump is making a political statement that he will be the first president to send a lot of immigrants back home, blah, blah, blah. I told somebody, I said, it's not possible because immigrants are the one that making America to be America. The people who taking care of the people in the hospital are immigrants. The people, the real typical whites and African American cannot do the work that Africans and other immigrants do here. It's not possible. You take the immigrants from here, the whole economy will fall. That is a political statement. So, I see all those things. I don't think it's necessary. Politicians use the desire of the people to get into power. And I think the Biden administration did not pay attention to major issues. Like for the immigrant issue, it have become a major problem for the Americans. And I think that is where Donald Trump turned the whole result in his favor.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it. Walter Carter, 1 minute, please. We don't have much time. 1 minute.
So I'm not really interested in how the election was based on economy, immigrant. I'm not interested. I'm interested in the comparison you asked us to give between Liberia election and American election. I've been in the country for a long time. I've seen candidates that were from the primary, they were kicked out because they had stigma. To see the double standard today play in America, that was surprised me. To see the American, how can America as a country that talk about decency or democracy, point finger at Liberia to tell Liberians not to vote for people who are unsanctioned because they are corrupt, but elect a president who is a convicted criminal. And then you tell me that
you live in Connecticut.
Hey,
you
man,
live over there, but when it comes for you, we're not going to help you.
Mr. Toh, we're not afraid to speak. These people want to speak the truth, and the truth will set us free. Do I look like I hide in my face? It is on the news. It's all over the world. I didn't convict him. It's not hidden. I'm just telling you the double standard that people play in this country should not to stop. You cannot put people on sanction in other countries and tell the people not to vote for them and say you're educating them. And in your own country, the leader of your country is a convicted criminal. I'm just telling you that was double standard, and the Democrats say, yeah, it is not going as we know it's supposed to be. There was a man who ran on the Democratic ticket called Hammer. Hammer, he was the pizza millionaire. When that man was going in his Republican primary, there was new rumors that came out that he was having extramarital affairs. They kick him out. Boom, you were out. Donald Trump, who went through court, who said he can grab women by the private part, 2 times became president of this nation. And you would tell me America will point finger at other countries
Thank
to
you.
be moral when it comes to democracy? We should
Thank
talk
you.
these things and let us educate our people.
Thank
Let
you
us
very
educate
much.
our people about the true democratic principle about in the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Watercolor. Don't leave. Sit down. Let's go to Dr. Malley. Dr. Malley, 1 minute, please. Guys, we're completely out of time.
Yeah,
Dr.
I
Malley,
just
1 minute,
wanted
please.
to. Yes, I just wanted to educate a caller that just called that felt that you put me in a corner because of the sophistication of America. You and myself will agree that America is sophisticated, and America actually is not ready for a woman presidency. And I will continue to repeat this. One, America has 335,893,233 citizenry in this country. It takes a very high-headed president with a very thick skin. Women are not prepared in that position. Two, the economic, to manage the economy of this country, you must be very tough. And this is where some of the Democrat problem came from in this election here. You must be very tough to know what you're doing. I think Terry just walk around the other issue. The inflow of immigrant is even being unmanageable. All right. Until even a Democratic presidential woman could not even find answer to it, even during the debate. Could not even find that answer. That one of the sophistication there that people are unable to manage these things.
30 seconds.
They not get to gun violent.
30 seconds.
Okay, gun violence is a very serious issue here. It's one of the constitutional issues. It has gone out of hand in this country. That made the country very sophisticated to manage, even by a woman. All right.
Thank you.
Then now we'll go to a bilateral issue. The list will go on and on and on and on.
But we don't want to do that. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. Let's go, Jerry. Let's come to you, and then Mr. Soul can grab his show and close it for us. Let's hear from you. 1 minute, Jerry, please.
You know, Dr. Malley, you are highly respected on this show based upon your tattoo. For you to come here tonight.
And so what wrong with
women
that?
are not
Dr.
ready.
Malley, please let him talk.
Women are not ready for presidency. That's
Are you respecting
Dr.
my
Malley,
view?
will you please let him talk? Please.
Are you respecting my view?
Dr. Malley, I don't want to mute you, please. Let him talk.
I just reported what you just said. That's what I'm talking about.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Women have played a significant role in this country. Coca-Cola CEO, or Facebook CEO, Biden CEO.
We're talking about presidency.
No, but you see, that's a whole thing.
Go ahead. You're not going to hear from me again. You're not going to hear from me again. Go ahead. Go ahead,
for you to come here tonight and make that kind of statement, it's nothing. You know, really, women have played a significant role. Even domestically, they might not be women play a significant role. They might not be in the forefront. They got to stay back and they guide us. Women guide the men and say, where are you going? This is how you're going to dress. This is how you're going to make the decision. Women guide us. So you don't come here and tell us, oh, women are not ready for that position. Women are ready. It's just that they are not given any opportunity. That's why. Yeah. But anyway, that's what I want to say. CDC, she need to change her ways. What do we learn from the going election? It's a lesson learned. Is America ready for a female president? No. Hillary Clinton. In fact, Hillary Clinton, she was not the first president. She was, what's her name? The lady from New York. She was the first person. She ran, she failed. In fact, a black woman happened. This is not the first black woman to run for
Chelsea.
Okay. Yeah, she's not the first black woman to run for president.
Yeah, very, very articulate lady. Yes.
Yeah. So this is not the first time. Jesse Johnson ran. Al Sharpton ran.
Dr.
So
Mate, please.
these are people who have ran for position. They don't
So
get it.
why did
Dr.
succeed?
Mate, please. Okay, go ahead, Jerry.
Please, the last time I think we said it on the show, and that's people always say this. We overtalk one another. That's why this time when somebody is talking, I keep my quiet because I have somebody call me and the president.
Control. Go ahead, Jerry.
So that's what I have to give the opportunity. So that's what it is. So we have learned a lesson. Maybe the next person will come as a black woman or white woman. It doesn't matter what the gender or the color may be, but they will come up with different strong or candidate or best candidate next time. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Mr.
the show.
So, what will be your closing?
Good night.
We're out of time.
Good night. I don't think you need to set an alarm clock for 1 minute, 1 minute. All we need to do, we are adults, we have a standard, and moving forward, we're going to be doing that. And we hope all ages will honor that. It's vital, and not just only Jones.
How you say adult when you say I drink a baby bottle, then you call me adult now?
You see, these are some of the things we're talking about.
As a CEO,
look, I think to every process, the only good thing I like.
Hold on.
The only good thing I like, we might disagree with it, different stuff, which is okay, our views, our opinions. But I think the good thing is the electorates of this country, they have their own power. Politicians, they are not just easily moved by politicians. You can talk to them. Ultimately, they decide. And I hope, that will also happen in our country where people will vote on issues. I mean, when I saw the exit poll yesterday, I kind of like it was troubling. I knew we were going to get down this road here. So again, I tweeted the Democrat needs to have a serious conversations and I kind of revisit their call. Other than that, Liberal, thank you so much tonight.
Before you go,
Liberal, I wanted to ask you, why you put Louis Brown on the list? Why you're sending Louis Brown to America?
You're not back up. You're not on the train. You're
Please,
on the train.
When you're having your conference call, you can talk about that. We're not part of that.
Let me say this on a very serious. Jared, can you join us? I want to say this. I want to say this.
I don't know.
Okay, let me say this, guys. Both of us are here, except for two permanent members that always come, say Scottu and say. This is what I want to say to all of us. I think, we come here when we're talking some serious business. We talk serious business. When we're joking, we're joking. We're here to engage each other. I think when we come out here, especially any of us can moderate. It doesn't mean Mr. So or me. Anybody here can moderate. But once you're moderating and you say, hold on, it might, because that's our instinct, just to continue with, because you're in a defensive mode. And I understand that. But it should not take you more than 2-3 minutes for you to agree that somebody is moderating. I think when we get to that point, we can't say no, I must. We have to stop that one. And I too, when we do these things, there are times each of us, we're going to have to engage. If I engage you and for some reason you're losing your train of thought, you simply ask, can I finish my train of thought? And with that kinds of conversation, I would say, okay, can I push you back? But you are an intellectual. You have your brain is still working. So another thing I want to say also is that when we come here to have these conversations among ourselves, there's no question we respect each other. Nobody here disrespect anybody. So, but we have to moderate our tone in that, for example, if I say something you disagree with me, it should not be done in a condescending tone. I think I hold myself responsible for most of that when it comes to being condescending most of the time. I think I have to learn myself and bring myself to that as well. But I think if we do that, the audience already enjoyed us, but they will enjoy us more. Now I come out here and make some ridiculous statements, so I'm not going to hold anybody and say, "Oh, your statement is not." No, I make some ridiculous statements. Sometimes it's the audience that will say those things. Well, Mr. To, tonight you don't have a good night. Mr. Male or Dr. Male or Ed or Terry, you don't have a good night tonight. That's the audience that will make those kinds of statements. That's okay. But let us truly continue to respect each other, and let's have a wonderful, wonderful show. We've been on this thing here for a very long time. We've been on this radio business going to almost 18 years. So we've been doing this thing for a very long time. So again, it's a wonderful show. Let's meet tomorrow.
Can I push back, please?
Moja versus progressive.
No pushing back. I'm speaking as a
You
board. I'm speaking as a board. No pushing back. No pushing back. I don't want to mute you. I don't want to mute you. I don't want to mute you.
That's what I'm saying. You make it
no pushing back. No pushing back. No pushing back. So let's bring the show to an end. And if you guys think we need to have a behind closed door conversation, we can do this. The same platform here. We set it up, but we don't go live and have a conversation. So just like we are now. We don't have to do it in a meeting or something. We set up time. We set up time. All of us come on, but we don't go live and have the conversation of what we need to have.
So that's supposed to allow you to proxy simple and short.
Okay.
That'll be a good idea. Set it up. We'll be available. I'll be available. I say I'll be available.
We don't need that. We need rules and regulations. That's what we need. Written rules and regulations. That's what we need here.
But it will be discussed there.
No.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you very much. Thank you, Mr. So. Good night, and good night to all of you guys as well. Again, folks, Samson told La Public Radio. We're here having some conversation, and we are here to discuss an issue affecting our brothers and sisters back home. Let's continue to do this. Please continue to follow us. We appreciate it. And again, lastly, we can say stuff here that perhaps might not be in your interest, but allow us to express ourselves freely. And this is a conversation that we're having with everyone else. With that, I will say good night to all of you. Good night, folks. Samson told La Public Radio. Good night.